Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Amusing Panda live stream, your musing and amusing source for all things Warmachine. I am Alex Kosma, and this week I am joined by a panoply of faces, starting out first and foremost with producer Keith. Welcome to the stage, Keith.
Thanks. I certainly did not expect to be on the stage first.
Well, you know what? You were at top of StreamYard, so here you are.
Oh, goody.
And then we got my dear friend, Mr. Geoff Zach, returning to the show. How you doing, Geoff?
Doing good.
And then we have completing the full Gun Bunnies cast. We have Cass returning to the show. Oh, we're stepping on each other. We have Cass returning to the show. Cass, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we got a big fat panel here with a lot of hot takes to go into the January update that was posted late last week. Hey, we got Stephen Williams in the chat. How you doing, friend? All right. Yeah. So we got a ton to go into this week. We're just gonna start real quick with news and announcements. So I have a couple items, and then we're gonna pass it over to some Gun Bunnies tradition. So first and foremost, everybody check the links in the description of this episode because Team USA applications just went live this week. So make sure you read the full application guidelines to understand where the interim committee landed with the rules for applying, and for some important details like when you submit your resume, it must include a link to your Longshanks profile, and then go ahead and fill out the survey form to check off your events competed in and placements. And yeah, go ahead and throw your hat in the ring for the WTC this year. Next up, something that is coming to this channel is tournament streaming. So Brandon Owens and I are embarking on a joint venture to bring you guys live commentated Warmachine tournaments. So that'll start this coming weekend with a local steamroller out of San Diego. And then the week after that, we will have full commentated Saturday and Sunday tournaments from Captain Con coming to you with a panoply of guests that we've been rounding up and getting ready to talk about the tournaments there. And then exact date TBD. The updates are out and Steamroller is coming soon. And Cass, why don't you take us away for the tournament update? And
all right, tournament update.
New Steamroller.
Oh yeah. So we have updates coming up for this weekend for 124 and 125 this weekend. We have CanCon. Epic and Capital Territory, Australia, and that is the 24th and the 25th. We have the DGB Warmachine Steamroller 2026 in Taipei, Taiwan, at Board Game Daddy. Yeah, I know, right?
Are we going to see a Team Taiwan, or are we one China policy here?
Yeah, that'd be lovely. We have Tatape Mayhem for January in Mantalitalo, Limpila, Finland. Sorry if I butchered that.
Almost.
So
certainly.
We have that tournament. Oh yeah, almost certainly. Battle of Orison in at Rogue Trader in Frederiksberg, Denmark. That's also on the 24th. We have Riot at the Attic at Club Stritch in Poland, and that's also on the 24th. We have Battle at the Battle Hub, also in Poland, on the 24th, in Warsaw. And then we have Liga, the Journeyman Academia, in Zaragoza in Aragon, Spain. We have the New Reckoning, Warmachine 2026 Steamroller in Battle Standard 74 in Windsor, Connecticut. We have the Rack Spell Retirement Potluck in Georgetown, Kentucky. We have in Buffalo, Captain Con. And that is also going to be on the 24th. That's it. Harley Quinn Hobby. That is going to be a steamroller we have there. Cheektowaga, New York. I think I did that one worse than the other one. And we have Flipside Gaming Steamroller. New rules. Who's this? Flipside Gaming. East Greenbush, New York. On the 24th, we also have a January Junior Jamboree. Get those new players and old players back in. It's Snake Eyes Gaming, LLC, Pennsylvania, United States. We have Chicago post-update Steamroller at Games Plus 101 West in Prospect, Illinois. We have another Steamroller Evolution Games in Texas. Also on the 24th, 25th, CanCon. We have team tournaments. So more CanCon here for Australia. We also have Brawl Machine on Sunday. And we have Warmachine Upstarts in Fantasia Ume Suite. That's on the 25th. We have the Battle of Limburg at Paro Chisius Cortesum, Flanders, Belgium. We have the post-update Madness in Essex, United Kingdom at Norman Booth Center. And yeah, got a few more at the virtual tournament that runs a little bit, just throwing me off there a little bit. In Orlando, Florida, we have a monthly steamroller. They're running in Layton Games at Altamont Springs in Florida. We have Alternate Dimensions Iron Gauntlet Qualifier at Alternate Dimensions in Tennessee. We have the OKGC League Kickoff Steamroller 2026 at Obsidian Games in British Columbia, Canada. We have Hive Wars at Gamers Haven in California.
Oh, Gamers Haven is fantastic, by the way. I'm so excited for those guys having a kickoff event. And by the way, local circuits, Hive Wars and SoCal is really, really punching into high gear with their local, grudge matches.
Excellent. And we have a steamroller at Mott's Boarding House, Bellevue, Washington. All right.
I will be there.
Nice. Wait, I mean, I think there's a big take home from this, which is how much pent up demand there is for Warmachine following all these updates. Like everybody's raring to go. If I was hosting my own, I would probably call it like something like Post Nut Clarity Warmachine Tournament.
That's awful. No, it's kind of exciting to hear so many events happening around the world. Like,
yeah, literally dozens.
I mean, we're going to see probably a great WTC next year. And if you want to travel, you can bring your models.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and the Taipei steamroller is really exciting. Like, I know I was flippant with the One China policy, but folks may not remember that actually this game used to have a pretty strong competitive scene coming out of East Asia and Oceania. Team Japan and Team China were no strangers at WTC. I think there was even a Team Malaysia one year. The Aussies did their big team trip and group practice weekend out in Malaysia. So like,
and you're just talking about Tom Guan, right?
Well, you gotta remember, like, getting out to, I don't know, Colorado is about the same lift as Australians getting to like Taipei. So
there was a Team China in 2016. You're right.
Well, yeah, a lot of exciting stuff. There was indeed a Team China at 2016. I won't delve into war stories too much, but after WTC 2019, one of the Chinese teams was politely invited to not return. So I don't know where we'll land with that. Anyways, that covers us for most of news and announcements, but like, let's be real, most of this episode is going to be news and announcements. So,
yeah.
Let's start with the app update comes tomorrow, but last Wednesday we got the mother of all updates with the full changelog. So I don't know if you guys work like me, but like my brain, I've been reading this actually for like over a month now, with intermittent updates from Steamforged, and my brain can't put it all the way together unless it's in the app and I'm building armies with it. But you guys have been reviewing this independently, and we're going to dive into what's changed and dishing up some hot takes over things to watch, who came out on top, how much the prospective metagame has shifted, etc., etc. And we're going to go army by army and pick some top things to highlight. Stephen Williams, I see you're like me. Yeah, it's a challenge until you start building those lists. Like, I'm putting together Storm Legion armies, and I have to remember like the arms on these coursers are different, like blah blah blah. We'll get the full picture, and for those of us not with minds like steel traps, we'll get the first opportunity to put them on the table. Let's dive into, so for me, passing over the change log, what my brain had like just cannot come to grips with is changes to legacy armies. I haven't put a lot of like, especially since I got rid of all my old legacy models, I haven't been able to put a lot of brain sweat into these guys. Let's talk about, looks like we lost El Jefe. But let's put some talk into what changed in legacy armies, focusing on, okay, we know everyone got hit by the lethality drop. Are there any special winners and losers worth mentioning here? Cass, I think you're our resident expert right now.
Okay. Well, I think the place that is easy to start, which is, towards the top of the document, skipping over Circle a bit, because Circle mostly, it looks like, got the changes, but Convergence, Convergence lost Aurora 1. They lost Lock, which I already thought was going to happen this year. They lost all of the light warjacks that aren't flying.
Wow.
They lost their 2-point arc nodes. They lost Nemo Battle Engine. They lost Asphyxius the Sanctified. They lost in both the Riot Quest models. Destructotron 3000 and Jams. Those are all things that they just lost outright. Those things are in Legacy now. Both Asphyxius and Nemo were pretty ubiquitous for list building because of POW fixing, because it's generally an issue in the faction of bumping up POW.
And they also came like very late in the Mark III cycle, where they tended to be models that were mildly overtuned to, at least in Mark III, like egregiously overtuned. So just having models baseline that were a little more powerful, it's a bit of a blow at like getting your legs swept out from under you, losing your hardest hitters there.
I was going to say, I mean, it'd be one thing if the faction was overperforming or performing very well to lose.
Or performing at all. What's the last time?
Performing at all, right. To lose such strong models, but to lose, and I'm not even against that a faction would lose a lot of strong models, provided that they got something some new toys to replace them. Even if they weren't as strong, at least they would be new and a new thing to play with. But that kind of didn't happen. I kind of would have liked to have seen Steam Forged come out and say, okay, these are all the cuts we're going to make in 6 months when you get these new toys. That way, if you want to still go after them, you can, or if you already have them, you have a certain amount of time to play with them. But to give you a kind of like a ramp down time to get all the use you can out of these models before they leave, before just getting rid of them and having nothing to replace them. It's kind of my thought about it. I wish they would have kind of transitioned a little bit more gracefully. I think, and I think it's similar for Grimkin because they also lost a lot of models.
Well, so there's as Stephen Williams mentions here, I think Convergence, Infernals, and Grimkin need to think of this as phase 1. Phase 2 will come when they are released digital later this year. That's one of the things that like Privateer Press insinuated and Steamforged has reiterated. Like, there's going to be these very accessible on-ramps to the game with these 3D printable factions. But by and large, like legacy armies are no longer a design priority. Essentially, the goal is keep them from getting out of line, but make it an easy entry point for people who are coming back. But these models, frankly, are just not a design priority when they fall outside of Prime and outside of the 3D printing architecture. For Convergence, they're a while down the line, but they are coming eventually.
And you didn't point out the most exciting thing about Grimkin. They finally got the bunny.
Oh, they got Zacchaeus.
Yeah. I think
I was so excited about that for no good reason. I really want to play Dreamer again. That's it.
All right, Cass, keep carrying us through the legacy.
Yeah, I think the thing that surprised me most actually was losing Aurora 1, the lights, and the Arcanode. That was actually the biggest surprise, was losing this. But on to their other changes, I actually think the big bumps. Orion going up to map 5 is actually, I think, very relevant in the faction, because he can adjust his mat and rat by 2 points. So now you're looking at a caster that's either a 7/6 or a 5/8 on his mat and rat to affect your vectors. I think other big changes is that eradicators and reciprocators both getting out. So they went from PAL 12s to PAL 13s. I think that's very relevant too. Eradicators, while dropping the mat, won't actually matter that much because of their +2 mat ability they can give themselves. And the reciprocators, like they have CNA. I think that there is more of a focus going into it because they also put Beacon on the monitors, ranged attack, so you have a heavy now with Beacon. Something a little bit more survivable, and you're not just taking a diffuser for the Beacon. It's now on heavy. You lost Void Generator, but that seems like a thing that they're generally doing overall is getting rid of the Mage Static. I just remember using Mage Static a lot with 120 millimeter bases on 2 of them, and it just creating this huge field of increased spell cost. And besides that, I think an important mention is what's not on here is the transverse enumerators are not on here. So transverse enumerators have very specifically inspiration, and they can attach to any of the convergence units. And they did not lose inspiration, and they also have a reroll mini feat. I can't hear you, Kosma.
Your audio.
Sorry, I got a phone call. Ignore me.
Okay.
That's okay. What do you think about this, Cass? Steve Williams. I also wonder if COC lights were taken away are due to those model sculpts not being practical to 3D print.
Oh, I absolutely think that that's the reason. I think that we're likely going to get lights, either a brand new set of lights or a newer sculpt. Those sculpts are always testing those little tripods. We're always testing.
Maybe we'll get extreme lights, which are just
extreme lights. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what direction they go in. It's a little hard right now because they lost so much in play, but it'll be a few months, and we'll see what's coming down the line. I actually think we're going to get characters is what's going to happen, because a lot of these legacy factions are getting characters. I think we'll see probably a character unit and a character vector potentially.
Well, I'd say too. I
That
mean,
flex treatment where it was so cool, and I mean just the size of some of those models that came out of it. It would be really neat to see that just continue on with, obviously Crucible Guard got some things, but that's Crucible.
Mm-hmm.
But Grimkin, I would love to see a character unit. They've never really had one. And Convergence, kind of the same thing. Would be really neat. A character vector would be neat. Yeah, I agree.
Let's talk Grimkin. So what changes did we get for Grimkin?
For Grimkin?
Mm-hmm.
They got completely irrelevant. That was their change. No, they just got some models removed. Let me see what else. I kind of glanced through, like they removed piggybacks, which was just like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
They removed like the Malady Men. They were kind of injured last year anyway, getting rid of Desperate Pace. But they were just, I looked at it as, okay, these are some changes they're making. It's on the roadmap to get them back in. So I'm not going to be sad or happy about anything that's in there. But being a Grimkin player, well, for years before, like I said earlier, the most exciting thing about the Grimkin change was we finally got the Grimkin bunny, Zacharias. I bought that model hoping he would show up in Grimkin at some point. So I
love that model.
He's so cool. I hope Grimkin gets like a character bunnies, if you will, or like
my gosh,
players would be so cool.
I don't need that in my life because it just means that I'm buying the Grimkin at that point.
But I think the corpse cart, or sorry, the death knell will finally end up on an 80 as is proper. I mean, it'll tone it down a little bit, but honestly, who cares? It could be a really cool model on an 80.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or we get like an 80 millimeter character Cage Rager or Skin and Bones. That'd be really neat. I don't know. Like I said, I'm excited about Grimkin, not necessarily the state they're in, but about their future. And I'll slow down.
No, that I agree with that. I agree that I think that's the direction that the legacies are going in terms of I'm excited for the direction that they're going to take them. I am curious as to why the piggybacks got hit, but I guess that it is it just look? Is it like them wanting to adjust the way the faction looks on the table? I don't understand. But welcome back, Kosma.
I'm here.
Looks like
I think the only thing that I was remiss. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say personal life calls, and there are some personal life calls you just can't miss.
Oh, absolutely.
Completely irrelevant, but my first big tournament win with Grimkin was against Kosma's team at the I-5. And I won't dig into it too much, but I've told Kosma the story a bunch, even though he was kind of beside me, not playing me. But yeah, we beat his team.
So do we think that Infernal's got a buff or a nerf in this?
I think
I'd like to wait till we see their new caster to kind of go with that. There was definitely a nerf to Zadrok, and
there was also a nerf to Valen Hawk, in that he has to choose between Brother's Keeper and Precision Strike.
They called the tactician in there, by the way, which I
Oh my god!
enjoy.
Of course they did. I mean, it's fair.
But I think any nerfs to Infernals, we can just say thank you, Cody.
Yeah.
Well, they did
Thank you. You've saved us another year of oppression.
They did lose some important models, like a lot of the legacy factions did. I think relatively ubiquitously. There's some exceptions, obviously, but most of the legacy factions did lose their whatever that was. What was it that Jams was in? The Riot Quest models.
Right, Quest? Only the limited release ones, because if you check any of the normal legacy factions, like Legacy Crix, for example, did not lose Old Grim.
Also, Infernals didn't lose Linda. Like, if you talk to an Infernals player in the last 2 years, you will watch them pulling their hair out to try and find a Linda. All right. So here's the thing. I actually don't super care about legacy armies. Like, I'm up there with the designers. Like, we just make sure they're in line. You know, obviously the ones coming to 3D print are going to see some updates and a lot more attention. But are there any other legacy factions that we saw get something notable happen to them?
I have some locals going hard into Ret, but I haven't asked them.
Oh, right. Yeah, Stephen Williams mentioned that Legions of the Dawn picked back up +2 to damage on Arcanus.
Housers also got Stir the Blood and Desperate Pace.
Oh yeah, Slaughterhousers. Oh, that's Geoff Easterwood, super fan. He is the world's most enthusiastic pig player.
I love Ifrit Scouts. It was one of the first models I bought in Warmachine because I like the look of them.
All right. Well, if we can't think of any other like crazy winners and losers, Grimkin getting the bunny is a good hop over to Mark IV Mercenaries, which you know, everybody's scrolling through this changelog and looking for, you know, their pet faction or their, like, you know, the great oppressor in their metagame. There are general lethality changes, but I think there are some models in here that it's worth calling attention to as gonna be more impactful than one would think. So on my list, Alexia, Queen of the Damned, went to 8 health. And she went down from @8 to @7. The health 8 is probably far more impactful, though, because she can cut herself for rerolls on any roll. So, at like bare minimum, this is a super hand cannon coming in with long-ranged hellfires. Her mat is unaffected. Battle Wizard is written in a way that's maximally beneficial for her. She has Death Toll. She has Grim Return still on her spell list. Like, Alexia being reroll central and her defensive stats are 15-16. That's really good.
Oh yeah.
If nothing else changes. You know, this is quite a solo. She's coming to a few more armies than she was in previously, and she's just a great source of consistency. Now, it's in that 4 to 5 point range where, like, would you really think about it that much? Maybe not, but like, if we're in a late metagame situation where you're trying to build for marginal advantage, I think this deserves attention. Eris, Shadow of the Retribution, also up to health 8. Damian Karovnik coming to Old Umbre, among others. He takes a mat drop and no other penalties. And then we have some more substantial changes, but I'll wait to get into the big ones. Prisoner picks up native grievous wounds and comes to a few new homes. Prisoner is an exceptional model and an exceptional late metagame pick, where you are making those marginal choices around the 3, 4, 5 point cost range. Prisoner remains Matt hates his model, like, loses her one weakness. Nisak the Totem Huntress swaps some keywords, and honestly, at 4 points, I have no idea what this model is supposed to be other than cost 3. Zacchaeus trades point Matt for a point of cost, which I think, as mentioned earlier, this guy coming to more homes is actually kind of a big deal because his cost bracket was always just wrong. With a model with this good defensive stats, this good speed, and reasonable output, plus some good support utility, I think Zacchaeus is gonna have a year of metagame relevance. We'll come to some of the more substantial changes, but any thoughts around the edge tweaks here?
Well, for mercenaries, you skipped over one, which was Malgrith. He lost a point of Matt, so you're only going to see him as an entropic force bot.
Mulgreth isn't even listed in Mark IV mercenaries. He must be listed in Orgoth specifically.
He's in Crix and Dusk, I think.
Oh, there we go.
But you're going to see him in Dusk if they plan on fighting Chimera, because Chimera did not lose the Colossal's healing tech.
Nope.
But that's something worth mentioning. There is marginally more grievous wounds in the game than there was before. But things like Silence of Death dropping off racks because racks no longer exist. Mechanisms of bypassing tough and bypassing healing are rarer than they once were.
I also wanted to mention for Alexia joined the Vampire Elves.
She did. She's in Dusk. And she's in Old Umbry.
You noticed that one?
That means outside of Max, you have access to returning bears.
Mm-hmm.
The strike is terrifying. Just throw 3 units of Mage Hunter Assassins at it. You're fine. Don't listen to me.
I'm really excited for Bunny Mage. He has
superlative defensive stats. They're like unreal how good they are.
Mm-hmm.
Sure wouldn't have minded the prisoner coming to Gravediggers. We don't really have a lot of grievous wounds.
I mean, Gravediggers is like prime culprit for grievous wounds.
Sorry, I said grievous wounds. I meant
Killing Spree, the thing the character Jack also has.
No. What's the thing that prevents healing?
Oh, that is grievous.
Oh. Okay, well then I don't know what I'm thinking of. Because I thought we just had the rule that prevented tough, not that prevented healing.
So it was Silence of Death on the rack that bypassed tough, and its grievous wounds prevents healing.
As far as I know, we only have it on Hasker and the sniper in terms of grievous wounds. So we don't really have it in the faction, other than if you have Silence of Death.
The rowdies, what's his name? Dalton has it.
Okay, another one model. So 3 models.
Keith is like, F off with this.
I mean, we're doing.
So we'll come to it. I think the rowdies are going to get a lot more ubiquitous.
Well, yeah, they are. I think too. But
sorry, I'm scrolling through this. I'm still in the legacy factions, and I noticed something in red. The AFG went down a point, and it looks like it went up in range.
Wait, up in range? That's bizarre.
Maybe I could have read that wrong. Sorry.
All right. Well, shall we get into the more substantive Merc changes?
Oh, yeah.
So first and foremost, something when the lethality drop was announced, everybody was teching like, oh, Nostilla, run awe in all your armies. It's gone. She's lost a point of Matt, Rat, and At. And her spray's gone down, but she can give aggressive to Aberration, which is a big deal. Aberration loses 3 points of range on the Saw catapult, and his Rat comes down. He's a melee piece or a just stand there and do things piece, which is like not a surprise to anybody.
He's got the +2 to attack rolls too, so
right,
he can go up to 6. So
yeah, he's not. he's not hurting for anything, but the awe change stopped a lot of people's preemptive technology dead in its tracks. Carver and Warbore, minor changes. I probably should have included them there. Like Warbore goes to Mat 6. Who cares? Kruger, Wrath of Blightergast, substantial changes in that he gets even cheaper. But he trades Mental Force for boost hit and damage on all rolls to boost hit and damage for D3 damage on one roll.
Yeah. I noticed it didn't say it cuts his placement thing.
No, that sticks. Blazing, whatever that ability is, still sticks.
And he still has the same amount of health, so he's not a total trash can merc, but he's definitely weaker than he was.
He's weaker, especially because his spray went down in range, which honestly is probably fair because there's something to differentiate it from his Eruption of Ash shot type that you see like called once every blue moon at most. So he doesn't liquidate units for free anymore because he's fully boosted and spray 10 all the time.
And because the Sky Raider lost Sky Ladder, you can't just move forward.
He also cuts Ashen Veil as well. I think for me and high consequence mercs, Magnus gets some tweaks with the unified vengeance wording, but I think the most consequential is Invictus. Rat 6 to Rat 5, so what? You're always boosting to hit on his big rocket. Battle Flail, POW 19, and gains aggressive.
Yes.
Invictus was a big deal in 2023. The SR-24 thwarted him somewhat, but this model is like a stealth win condition to your game. And I think these slight offensive tweaks to Invictus are going to make this a much more popular model coming up this year.
I was going to say, do you think with the nerfs to both the pig and Aberration and Nastilla over the last, Aberration and Nastilla this most recent change, but the pig over the last couple of years with the nerfs to him and the nerfs to Fury if you were playing him. Not Fury, but
Rage.
Rage.
I mean, Mercenaries players most impacted, but see comments about who cares about legacy balance.
Sure, but
aren't we?
In any case, stealth nerfs to Pig, and
are we just a few months out from the new 80mm?
We might be. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a new one.
Well, last year,
how not surprised would you be, Kosma?
I would be normal levels not surprised. I was only given previews for these changes, not for what's coming in the future.
Okay, just curious.
But yeah, I think the changes to Invictus is exciting.
Well, I was going to finish asking my question, which is, do you think that Invictus is going to be this year's 80 mil, barring any new drops?
Wait, so the changes to Invictus are subtle, and a lot of people don't understand what I mean when I say that Invictus is a win condition. Because people like started to understand this in 23. Magnus and Invictus can more or less hold down a flank by themselves. It takes a surprising amount of dedicated work to really drop them in any sort of quick sense. Invictus also has his built-in vengeance move for being damaged, combined with Energizer. Essentially, if you take a swing at Invictus too soon, and don't kill him, you unlock his 16-inch melee threat, which is now more impactful, that he free charges, and that his battle flail is higher power. So what this often means is Magnus and Invictus are there on a flank firing their guns, whatever like dorks are around them, and grinding them to like the slowest game you've ever seen because they can't meaningfully attack this super heavy. And then what happens when you get to like bottom of turn 4, top of turn 5 is you guys have done this piece trading and the numbers of heavies on the board has gone down, and Invictus charges the last heavy and kills it while at full health. And your opponent looks at this 34 box ARM 22 model that can threaten everything left on the board to a serious extent and says, what do I do about this? This model now owns everything within 13 to 16 inches of him. Like, I think we've just reached an end game state where I have no more play. And this guy was out firing rockets at dorks on a flank for like 2 rounds being inconsequential other than wasting your time. And now he runs the table.
Just stay away from Necro with him.
Wait, what's the trick there?
Hitting Invictus with the Dominator and having him kill Magnus is just fun times. Sorry, I'm always thinking about random weird shit like that.
Lordy. But yeah, I mean, I think that the changes to the other Super Juniors, like the most impactful one is Nostilla loses Awe, which is like background army tech support. But I don't think Big Pig or Aberration changed their overall role or overall viability in the current metagame. They still do their role well. I think the biggest sneak up is that Magnus and Invictus are about to get a lot more important.
I agree. I hadn't really looked at Magnus and Invictus yet. I just kind of cried a tear for Big Pig. I haven't even painted my Magnus and Invictus, so
me either. I'm super bad about that.
No, I like him quite a bit, especially in a world where Moraine exists. My deep love of mortality, and it just turns him up some more.
Well, let's talk factions then. We're running through our time real quick, but like there's much to cover here. I will just say, one thing of like we're gonna hit a couple of factions that may have changing internal relationships to preferred faction synergy. And like, the reason I put this at the top of our change log is essentially as your faction's bias or like standard niche for playing internal synergy goes down, the value of true mercs is going to inherently go up in your faction. Keith and I are probably going to have a lot of words on Kane, and people who are looking at Kane should probably be looking more closely at true mercs, whether that be Big Pig or Invictus. But let's cut into Necrofactorium. I have some thoughts, but do you guys have any top level takeaways on Necrofactorium?
Oddly, no.
Let me run through the look again, and I think that the various notable points adjustments are going to be interesting. I think the Wraithbinder Nakane going back up. I think it's back up to 7 and gaining Crippling Grasp is interesting. Yeah.
Crippling Grasp is interesting because she had access to Calamity previously, so it's swapping one upkeep arm debuff for another. But it does give her some more depth to her game plan. She's not essentially holding back until the big opportunity to go all in. Crippling Grasp's additional advantages on your opponent's turn, I think, indicates that she's just going to have a more well-rounded game.
Yeah.
I mean, you all are so nice. But this faction hardly got touched in a game, in a rules update where a lot of stuff got touched and they were already very strong. So I expect them to be just as strong or stronger going forward. So
I'll give you. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Geoff.
Oh, sorry. Did Decathus get touched much? Sorry, he seemed to be.
He picked up the ability to self-soul generate if living models aren't in a certain range of him.
Nice.
Oh yeah. And he has knowledge of the damned all the time.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So I think what I have here for substantial changes is I don't know where the home of the Colossal is going to be in the face of this. Honestly, the Hellraker is such an out there model that it's hard for me to tell. Kythos obviously got hit, changing in a lot of ways. His spell list now resembles his Cephalix version. Feat is now down to dodge and -2 to attack rolls, which given the lethality drop is reasonable. Honestly, I think the biggest internal rebalances are one, the change of gang and gang fighter as applies to Sepsira, who was late metagame super impactful. While she maintains the ability to pull much of her own of her traditional tricks, her assassination run is not as push button as it used to be, which thank God for that. And the other major change is the Malefactor Heavy having an internal price rework. Being able to get 10-point Malefactors that went sword and board with the axe and the shield was just egregious in terms of efficiency. And I think they're now up to 12 points minimum, maybe 13, to get that combination, which like a lot of these factions that we'll see have internal system rebalances just to make more options viable or to make overly economic options not as egregious. So, you know, the Malefactor change is a big change.
And it's important to point out that the ubiquity of Carnage was in this faction.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's gone now.
And that's gone. There's no Carnage anymore.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any other thoughts on Necrofactorium?
Combo strike on the Mechanothralls is interesting.
Oh, that's coming off of Sepsira now.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can make them hit like trucks. She just can't make them hit like surgeons.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to Signar, which is normally I'd say we'd go army by army, but I'm going to be honest. Kane is probably the first level elephant in the room. I talked with Tucson David about, you know, caster inevitability and having a backstop who is probably going to be relatively unaffected by lethality changes that can just exact a model over model, like turn over turn model toll on your opponent and run them out of their ability to play the game. The most egregious is Rat 9 up to 9 shots a turn, free teleport Kane. If you're running the wrong model comp, this guy will just blow your army into irrelevance. Top level thoughts on new Kane.
I mean,
we'll go Keith last.
Let me
because I know you're the
Steven
yeah.
here.
Let's go Keith last.
Let me just address Steven here. Steven, this doesn't matter to you. You ran Terminus anyways, so sorry. Go ahead.
Geoff and Cass, give me your thoughts, and then Keith will have it out over Kane in a sec.
Okay. So I'm going to say that I looked at Kane and I played Signar back in the day, and I played Kane 2, and I was like, Kane 2 is that.
I've been calling him Kane 2 + 2 = 4. And like we have Baronova who's like it's Zerkova 1-2 or Wolf who's Striker 2-2. And now we have Kane 2-2 who equals 4.
Yep.
Now you have to model
Huh?
Now you have to model him with a 2-2 on.
I think Kane is very strong, very powerful, going to be ripping people off tables, and has
he's going to be the first order meta boogeyman of this year. I think everyone's going to like Kane's going to have a target on his back for everyone.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I apologize then.
Yeah? What are you gonna say? Oh, you apologize.
Yes.
Oh, for calling Steven out.
Yeah, apologize, Steven.
Do you want to jump in here, Keith?
Actually,
we were waiting on Kosma.
Geoff, do you have Kane thoughts here?
I look forward to playing against him. No thoughts. Kane has scared me since release, and it feels, he just got a little bit better. So I think defenses are going to be a big thing. And hopefully I get lucky and just hit him with, like, I don't know, whatever, and murder him like I have before. It's always been kind of a crapshoot to get Kane, but if you can, he explodes. So, yeah, I'm not looking forward to that fight.
So Keith, you have easily, out of everyone I've talked to, the most mixed thoughts on this guy. Take me through your process here.
Well, back in the day, in Mark II era, Kane with his feet could take a Colossal off the table. In Mark IV, Kane 4 could also take a Colossal off the table with his feet, obviously in different ways. The Kane in Mark II had the stacking power feat that he now has in Mark 4.5, if you want to call it. Maybe he'll be able to do it this way. It's hard to say about Kane because, well, he's like, I was going to be taking Kane as a alternate way of dealing with Colossals, Jake's being the other way. I'm not sure if I will be able to use him that way. And with the problem being that I feel like Gravediggers is going to have a hard time with Colossals if you don't kind of come very well prepared for them. And with the trike being the colossal boogeyman and it's very easily expected that you're going to run into at least 1 or 2 trikes in an event, right? So
we'll get to that. That's a big question mark, but I think it's reasonable that the Trichomerics retains some degree of metagame relevance. Yes,
I'm not saying that it shouldn't retain metagame relevance. I'm just not sure that it was hit as hard as I think we kind of, or at least I kind of expected it to get hit. That we'll get to it, like you said. So I kind of feel like Kane got an exchange. He doesn't allow his army to remove a Colossal ubiquitously from the table like he did in the last year, right? But in exchange for that, his what did I say this afternoon, Cass? His ability to say, well, I guess I'm losing the game, I guess I'll just win now, has kind of come back, right? Like, you know, if Kane saves his feet, your caster is always in danger. He needs speed 7 and range 12, right? So he's got a 19-inch I'm going to kill you threat against a lot of casters. I don't know. I haven't run the numbers yet to know how good his actual assassination run is. And the other thing, too, is with the other changes to Gravediggers, where they have done a good job, and I think mostly to the benefit of the field gun, tried to make tracer rounds a lot easier or flare a lot easier to hand out. You can pretty much count on the fact that Kane's going to be effectively Rat 11 because you're gonna flare the target, right? So if
you're gonna have one Patriot that comes in first and boosts to hit,
or whatever has the flare. You know, I think you can do it with Rangers and some other things.
and Commandos,
Commandos, So you're gonna basically get to ignore with that +2 either a concealment or half of cover, and you're not going to be able to hide.
So I'll offer some counterpoints here, which is I don't think Kane's feat is actually the way he assassinates your caster. There's the old idiom, POW 12s kill casters. Kane with Rat 9, his hit values are not, they're better than most, but they're not natively bulletproof for killing a caster. He's a guy that feels much more comfortable mathematically boosting to hit a pistol shot, targeting you with Calamity, and ending you with 3 shots plus maybe backups. Especially because he's got the signs importance for damage. The way the math works out on Kane's underlying attacks don't favor his feet going into casters. They favor evening the playing field in other models. While you're right that Kane losing his +2 to damage and shot types and blessed feet, reduces his ability to generate sort of that army support and rip a colossal down without exposing him to much risk. He retains his ability to rip a colossal down. But it's actually losing his old feat has freed him from a lot of his prior design constraints. So often you were looking at like whether you were in Storm Legion or Gravediggers, probably Deuce +4 lights. Now Kane is free. His primary responsibility is protecting himself, so his battle group will probably bias light. But outside of Calamity and like Blur is a great spell, Magic Bullet can be useful. He's not necessarily speaking for a lot of his abilities needing to support a specific army config. One of the things that I think is going to make Kane really sterling in this coming year, or at least this initial proving out period, is that he's de facto much more true mercenary friendly than he used to be. So obviously he's a hit and damage offensive debuff caster, so he's super friendly to Big Pig. But I think also with his independent winnow down dudes strategy that he's running just off his native body, he winds up being also a massive friend to Magnus and Invictus because he offers you a clear and less disrupted path to Invictus wins the game.
Well, I agree kind of with some of your take about his ability to kill casters. I think in the case that you use Witch Mark on your first shot against a caster, to stick Calamity is largely going to be dependent on whether you want the extra rat to hit on 3 up, right? If you hit on 3 up with the shot that allows you to roll the additional die, keep the highest, and you feat, you're effectively starting with 14s instead of 12s, right?
Yeah.
I think most casters, except for maybe some of the ones in Old Umbre, are just going to straight die to that. There are going to be some exceptions, but there's going to be a lot of casters that are going to die.
Well, you have Heartseeker bringing it up to nearest makes no difference POW 16, so you're getting hit with hit with a 12, like so what, and then you're getting hit with some like 3 16s. I'm even comfortable with that going on like a native 5 to hit on Kane. And then like, what are the odds you have 0 more models that can contribute 1 more damage roll?
Well, especially when you're contributing a Calamity, you're going to have 0 likelihood, unless Kane is the absolute last model you activated,
right?
That there won't be a damage roll that it can be contributed to.
Right. And it's worth mentioning in both Signar armies, the grenade arm on the light is becoming the preferred cost ranged option. So you're looking at, potentially quite high POW blast damage with boost chasing it.
Well, I'm not sure how much I love the ranged options for most of the Gravediggers heavies. Once again, the value I think is low for the point costs, because once the lines close, those guns become a
Yeah.
lot less useful, and whether or not you're the heavy is the one that's engaged, right? Because as soon as the lines close, the target that you're shooting then just automatically gets 4 defense, which makes it
Mhm.
significantly harder to hit, and you're not getting the volume of attacks as you would if the model is engaged in
Well,
melee.
let's carry on into gravediggers generally, because I feel like you're coming at this from a gravedigger's perspective. Tell us what your thoughts are on this. Is one of the most like, it's mostly like small micro changes, but this is one of the most intensely changed factions. What do you think of the shape of gravediggers right now?
There's a lot of things that I like about gravediggers, but the thing that I think is really required for gravediggers is 2 more units, because I think that would bring them up to the average of every other faction in terms of the number of units. And I say that because I do like the Gravediggers design, but the problem is the lack of melee ability that they have from their units. So when you talk about the Rangers, they are POW 10 melee, POW 12 on the charge because of brutal charge,
Mhm.
but they only have 3 models that can actually
Right.
attack at that
Yeah,
level,
yeah,
right? The other
actually
2
do
have
damage.
what? They're POW 6 rifle butts or something like
Yeah.
that. So like when you talk about the new design in Mark IV, one of the things that makes melee makes units so powerful is you only need 1 charge lane that can get to the target, and then
Mhm.
all 5 models automatically get to the target. In Mark II, that wasn't the case. Usually, you had 2 or 3 models that were out in front that could eventually get to the target, and then the rest of the models kind of stayed behind for a charge the following round or whatever, right? So you're really only able to get a few models typically to the target of Mark II. And Mark IV, all of your models get there. All of your models are attacking. All of your models are contributing damage. I like the design of the Gravediggers in the sense that you have 3, and I think that this was kind of a Steamforge design philosophy where you have 3 grunts that have a standard loadout, and then you have 2 weapon attachments, right, attached to the unit that do something completely different. And I think that's a great design, and I think that correctly limits their melee output to it only being the 3 models, so that they're not just automatically ripping things off the table as soon as you get to them.
So
Unfortunately, their other option, which is the commandos, only have POW 9 trench knife or POW 9 knives. So, and while they do have anatomical, which is great for taking out other single wounders in a game where nobody's playing single wounders or there's not a lot of single wounders, it's not as relevant as you would think it is. So they're go ahead.
I take your point, and I have several avenues of pushback. One of which is, okay, the machine gun picking up a lone gunman is a bit of a blow to the faction's ranged output. But one of the things we've talked about offline is that gravediggers may settle into a niche of soften up at range to make everything fall down in one push. The other is the faction has 4 damage buff casters now. You have Kane, Sparkhammer, Buckhasker, and McCoy.
5.
All of these. Who's the 5th?
Roscoe.
Oh God, yeah, she is, isn't she? But I mean,
Yep.
damage buffs is now pretty ubiquitous in the faction, at least for melee. Plus you have what's his name, the Ogren solo who can hand out Stir the Blood. Plus quite substantially, even though you're maximizing only a limited handful of models for their melee damage rolls, you now have the option to heavy airdrop a raider, which gives the controller, which in Gravedigger's case is the unit, flank with the raider. So you can have under a wide variety of casters, for instance, the rowdies charge an enemy model, and all of their charge attacks are going to be POW 13 plus 5 dice.
I mean, we can talk about specific examples in the faction. The rowdies are obviously the example that is going to be the Rube Goldberg machine that you would like to put into action, right? I and it's also the Goldberg machine that the trike is going to spray down before they get to do anything, ideally for your opponent. So I think I'm trying not to build the Rube Goldberg machine. I'm just trying to look at it like what is realistic, not what
Wait,
is living to
as
dream.
an alternative, you can have 5 or 6 models in a commando unit. Take the full suite of buffs and charge at POW 15 4 dice. And the great thing about the Raider being a heavy airdrop is you don't have to pre-commit it anywhere. It's just whoever makes it to melee gets to be weapon master on the decisive charge turn. This is particularly good for McCoy, given that he's also porting the option for a speed buff.
Yeah.
Well, like it's possible that it can all come together. But I have my doubts until I see it on the table and actually get to play it.
Yeah, I will say that we are probably getting lost a little bit in the weeds in terms of what the changes were, in terms of like the casters overall. Like we had Bugcaster now removes Pathfinder and has rough terrain feet.
Right.
I've also been seeing a lot of people say like Buckhasker didn't get good. His focus map and his control area are still a dumpster fire.
I mean, I thought Buckhasker was good before he got buffed, so I may not be the right person to ask on that. Once again, no, I haven't played him, but I think Buckhasker has the potential to be a very strong control caster in the faction.
I'm
But I
tentatively
think
there
that
with
he's
you
going
on
to
that.
be one of those casters that has a very high skill floor, a high skill ceiling, and a very low skill floor. Which is, if you're not very experienced with Hasker, you're going to lose a lot of games until you get very experienced with Hasker, and then you're going to win a lot of games. If that makes sense. So very punishing, I think.
Every time I talk about this caster's prospects, I say, my name is Buck, and I'm here to lose games.
Well, it's the gauntlet of Warmachine, right? Like that's kind of the nature of the game, right? Like the process of becoming good at the game is, learning a lot through losing in the game, right?
Yeah.
And that's the gauntlet I think that a lot of us choose to run in order to get better and to become great at the game.
Doing the same
and
thing
have a lot of
over and
fun
over until it's a different result.
Do what?
Doing the same thing over and over until it's a different result.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's actually very true.
Yeah.
I'm in the interest of time, because we've got a lot of armies to cut through. Keith, I am very interested in seeing you blaze a path with Hasker. I'm gonna elide over Storm Legion very quickly. Other than to say, we talked a lot in the pre-show discussion about knockdown, and the ability to just put models on their asses consistently is going to be a big deal in the coming shape of the game. I staked my claim that the Striker and its auto knockdown hammer are probably going to emerge as staples just for their metagame relevance. I think of the casters who came out winningest in Storm Legion, I think it's Sparkhammer, and he may be one of the higher winningest ones in Gravediggers, but I'm going to plant my flag there too. Real quick, any thoughts on Storm Legion changes and any first order impacts here before we move on to Geoff's specialty?
Are you asking me specifically, or are you asking the floor?
I did the whole panel. Any top level thoughts on our other boys in blue?
Maybe not Sparkhammer in specific, although I think that Sparkhammer has a fantastic spell list. I think he came out of this very well.
So good. Such a good spell
The
list.
thing that I noticed out of the cadre is how very good Borealis looks out of this change.
Titan
They took away
Gladiator
his
defensive
ability
stats.
to boost his D3 damage rolls, but they increased the POW to compensate, so they're kind of already
effectively
boosted.
16. Yeah.
I mean, you talked about how you thought Roscoe wasn't going to be good enough after the change, but
you think the Roscoe double Borealis is the future?
I mean, you get to shoot 4 times with that gun with 43 additional POW 16s. You tell me what you think about it, especially if
That's
it's
pretty
already
hot,
taken.
actually.
Yeah, especially after you reduce the armor by 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That may be good. It's something I was thinking about. But real quick on Kane, I think a lot of people are going to get dead playing Kane because it turns out blast damage still kills Kane, especially if you can boost it. And if you don't keep Kane safe enough, a lot of people will want to grab all of the things with Kane's gunshots, and boosted blast damage will kill him dead. He's armor 13. So
Gee, if only there was still a 5-point unit that could grant him blast damage and a range reduction and the option to field 7-point shield guards that could pull blast damage onto other models they were basing with while being within 3 of where Kane
it won't
teleported
matter.
to.
Armor 13 still will, even rolling
He,
D6.
Dude, the number of games I played so much Kane last year, and the number of games where Kane took damage rolls, I wasn't intending him to, either because I was smart or because I was immensely stupid, is quite low. He's a tough cookie. Don't rule him out, and he's way harder to kill with blast damage than one would expect.
We'll see. I mean, I think people are going to go after. They're going to get those. I know how it is to play Kane, especially early on, and you're just firing those guns away, and you're teleporting to safety like you're cool, and then it's like, cool, this blast gun misses you, but still, like POW 8 blast damage boosted is still you're still gonna,
That's
really
the secret with Kane. You play him like an absolute wuss.
Yeah,
he lives maximally safe all the time and just threatens your opponent with a good time.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry, enough about that.
All right. Let's kick on to Dusk House Callus.
Yay.
El Jefe. This is one of the most changed factions.
For the better.
What were once faction defining weaknesses, in my perception, are no more.
Yeah,
and what were once faction defining shticks are no longer present as they were, but are still really strong.
Well, you were just talking about Kane and how blast damage kills Kane. Well, Hazaroth picked up a new spell called Call of the Grave, which AoE 2, POW 12, models damaged by Call of the Grave suffer Shadowbind. Hooray! Bye, Kane. I used to hit him randomly with Black Talons, and then I'd hit him with like Mortality. So what is he? Def 11 at that point, or Def 9? Def 11. Sorry. Anyway,
it's bad.
It gets bad, like stacking all that crap. But now only Hazaroth can do that. Anyway, the changes for Hazaroth, I think, are actually going to make you see Hazaroth running a lot of just Dawn Guard, Slayers, and Archers, and just basically the Dawn Guard package. I think Brandon was running that a little bit last year. And anyway, I can go on and on.
Do you think Hazaroth graduates? Like, so there was a lot of speculation between you, me, and John about Hazaroth's place in the metagame.
Yeah.
And that it's probably significantly higher than it had been otherwise. Do you think he graduates to top flight now?
That's gonna come with play. I mean, his feed is still so until like an 80mm comes out for Dusk. And I haven't actually looked what the cost for the new like minimum cost for Eidolons is. I think John had the setup right, where he's running as many Eidolons as he can with some Dawn Guard. But if you don't have Entropic or easy access to Grievous, speaking of which, Gravediggers still has no access to Entropic.
Most factions don't. People say that like it's common, and it's just Dusk players.
Dusk has so much access to Entropic, I just assume everybody does.
Almost nobody
does. Entropic. Anyway, my big excitement is for my favorite caster, Moraine. She didn't change that much, except for she has Mirage, which is what I would take with her anyway. And she just adds to this whole stir. Now that we have Stir the Blood in faction, we have Kiss still from Dices. So you're talking about a +6 damage spike or access to +6. And then you have these new Mage Hunter Assassins that lost a couple points of POW, but they gained Weapon Master. So there's a wash right there. Anyway, if you charge with 3, you essentially, this is where Battle Lust went, is into your Mage Hunter Assassins. And they can pop a jack if you get enough in there, or whatever you want. And then
drop one of your many damage buffs.
Yeah, if you're trying to come back and kill whomever, and you take out one of those guys, all of a sudden, Moraine is casting Spirit Door, and she's on the other side of the table now. I wish she had gone up some control just to make that more egregious, but I don't know. I just feel like Moraine is still kind of the tricksy caster that requires that setup, but she can still take out a caster. She can still, I mean, not Moraine, but Mortality is still a drug that just works. Yeah. I don't think she's going to have much game against like Kane. She'll have some shield guards, but you're still going to be able to land everything you want onto her and still shoot her off the table. However, like Helith, you're still going to run a Phantasm with her, potentially 2, I guess. But she now has a Magic Bullet. So you have these sprays now on the Phantasms and the guns are still range 14, chained with Fire Group. So you just have this amazing gun line with Helith. And her feed is pretty much still the same. It changed a little bit.
Yeah, it no longer gives plus def to warrior models, but
exactly. So you're not you're not going to change up too much what she's running already. You're probably going to throw a few shield guards in there. You might put the new Void Engine in there, which adds extra armor to your shield guards. White's painted like beagles. Yeah.
What? Because they're inconsequential?
They're inconsequential, exactly. Which is fine. I mean, the whites losing that spooky.
It just means they're offensive pieces now. They're essentially secondary guns.
They really always were. I mean, yes, you could use them as contesting pieces, but I always thought, oh, okay, I'm using this. I didn't play the Soulless boat that much. It seems more viable to me now than it did before. But yeah, whenever I used Spooky Ghost, it was just, oh, you got living models? I'm going to charge them now.
Right.
Skyear gained Stir the Blood.
Yeah, Stir the Blood is huge. You're going to run 2 Sires now in every list. If you don't, you're insane.
Right. And if you're looking at running Hazaroth, you've gotten a lot better because like sort of the consensus point John and I got to after a while is, okay, you're chasing Invocation of Dust and we're sort of pursuing where is the most value over time, like over the course of a game or over points expended. And, you know, you can take Slayers and Archers and Cats. But Hazaroth only has so much focus to go around. You only have so much.
I would argue Cats losing Prey, you're going to cut those because they just, yes, they have poison, but they're not putting out the damage that they once did.
Well, they still have the POW 16, so they only shave 2 points off their tail.
Yeah, fair.
I think you still keep Cats because they have the best defensive stats and an array of stats. They have the most attacks. They can still benefit from Dark Shroud. You still keep them with Hazaroth, partially because reposition is just a big deal for them.
I'm more excited about the Slayers just because I want Slayers to be good.
They have been for a while. They're just better.
Yeah, that's fair. Gaining Vengeance in the last update was huge, and now they just with Stir the Blood, their effectiveness goes way up, especially with crit decap.
Well, Cat's effectiveness with Stir the Blood is, almost comparable or higher than what it was. Just as a solo package with a caster like Hazaroth, who's probably not racking Battle Lust.
Yeah.
So for Haz, most of your Invocation of Dust value is in just supporting 2 units of cats because they're what's going to stick around the most. And then you staple on 1 or 2 sires, which, Yumi and John were already talking about with like the insane efficiency gains on these guys. And then you're running your bare bones Eidolons, which are still repping Dark Shroud, have picked up a stronger gun in the Force Fist. The Force Fist is cheaper.
10 points for that Eidolon, by the way.
Yeah, 10 points for the cheapo Eidolon.
But you gain Mark Target as well on the repo head, which just helps out the Phantasm in the Elif build. I know we're talking about Has, but Mark Target is a great ability.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like this faction no longer struggles with accuracy on any count. Never mind that none of the Eldritch units lost or meaningfully lost to their primary offensive stat to hit, and their power remained about in the same place. And the faction picked up so many accuracy fixers that was afforded for, I think, in the loss of Battle Lust.
Yeah, losing Battle Lust is pretty important, but I really wanted Ghostwalk. Well, this is just my wants. I wanted Ghostwalk to be on Dices. Obviously, Dices didn't change at all, but mostly because Ghostwalk and Mirage on Moraine was how you killed casters. But now I don't get to do that. I would say, in my opinion, Dusk won the update. Just there's a lot in there. Saraffel's new Field Marshal just allows crits, and I really should have done the math. I don't know how many more crits you're going to get out of there, but
it's slightly different from boosting, but it went from I think about 16% to higher, closer to probably factoring in lower to hit odds, closer to 30. Because a standard unboosted roll is 16 and a boosted roll is about 40. You're looking at something like high 20s, low 30s in crit chances with every attack without any focus chasing it.
So
and with focus chasing it, you're looking at like 70s,
mid 70s, I think, mid to high 70s.
I was looking for the crit slam or crit smite
on the Force Fist.
Where that's at.
Yeah.
But anyway, your crit chances go up so far. Like the Spectre has crit brutal, and you have so many options of knockdown with the Light Jacks or with Force Hammer from Syrafel. I feel like you can just kind of play hockey like old school Kador with a bunch of the Jacks, and Force Hammer sometimes just wins games. I mean, Kane's defense doesn't matter when he's on his butt. But yeah, it's with the Phantasms. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm talking about Syrafel. I get excited about every single caster except for Tyrus. He lost Flashing Blade, which is kind of huge. He used to be able to just basically Madrak 3, but he still has Arcane Vortex, which is pretty substantial. And with the changes to Exorcism, maybe it's not that big of a deal. I don't see playing him personally, even though he probably has the best threat range in faction. And that may change as we get more models and start moving into whatever the new. Well, I guess that's the Fury part of things. So really, we're not going to get much. But if an 80mm ever shows up in faction,
oh boy! If some foretold 80mm ever, wait. So let's not speculate about what's coming with 80mm. Let's talk instead about, for my money, what is probably the least changed faction, but probably one of the most controversial for the touches they're getting. I have to run to the bathroom, so why don't you guys take us away with
Well, I
rapid
wasn't
fire
done
hot takes on Old Umbry.
I wasn't done talking about Dusk. So
Yeah, feedback.
we'll let you go to the bathroom
yeah.
and we'll finish talking about Dusk.
All right, yeah. Give me your Dusk thoughts. I'll be fine.
All right, there. Now that we got that out of the way, let's
Feedback loop just
let's touch on what Erica has said here, because she is one of the best Dusk players in the country, maybe the world. I believe she took her to she took Dusk to WTC. The biggest win for Dusk in 2026 is that the Army actually functions like a cohesive force versus the three cadre they feel like they had since launch. And she's so excited for this Army this year. And if I was her, I would be too. Honestly, I've mentioned multiple times to Cass that, like, you should probably already have been bringing Hazaroth as one of your lists, because if you're facing an army that doesn't have good access to Entropic or Grievous Wounds, Hazaroth should auto win you that match. If you're just snarrowing and forcing people out of zones and saying, oh, you don't really kill this guy 7 times, like, you're going to win that game.
It all comes down to Grievous and Entropic,
right. But again, like, if you're playing against Gravediggers, I'm not bringing things that have that, right?
You might bring Prisoner nowadays, but
Prisoner's not in my faction.
But it's going to boil down. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. It's going to boil down to, what does our new scenario pack look like?
Yeah.
I agree with Erica, though, that I'm so excited to be able to walk again and get Dusk on the table. Like, this is the most excited about Dusk I've been since Sarafel came out in her original busted form.
Yeah. Now, I will say this about Moraine. Moraine, I've only played against her once, and I mean, good God, she was amazing. And without the rack, she's not going to be able to do the things that she was able to do before, which, the double debuffing was incredible. I was very impressed the first time that basically ripped like 3 of my jacks right off the table on the turn.
We did the math.
It was amazing. I mean, terrifying, but amazing. I mean, I barely won that game. But like you said, with the combination of Mirage and the movement buffs, like, you could build her however you wanted to build her. And now she is more locked into what she can do.
She goes in, she does her work, she kills something, and then she just pops over to be safe wherever she happens to be. Not Sweden, but when we were in Germany, what's that, 2 years ago now, Travis and I sat down and ran the math, and she could take out the avalanche and still have like 3 or 4 focus left over. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, that was just her light work. She hadn't even started, for the day at that point, right? It's like,
and then pop to safety behind a building.
Exactly. Hey. And go ahead.
Oh, someone asked about feedback loop, and I read it when this first came out, and it just looked like a weird, it's definitely an assassination tool, but it looked like basically backlash, but a little bit different.
And of Kirk's player of old, playing some Texas Raiders, feedback loop, it's not going to be a good assassination tool. Like, it's just not.
But it can knock down the caster to get him squishy to
a little bit.
That's accurate. I need to do 5 damage, sure.
Yeah, that is accurate. It is a junior.
Maybe against Invictus, but then he still has tough, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think you said, kind of hinted at it before also, Cass, and we've done a little bit of math about the Eidolons, and I don't know if you still have that handy or not, but the 10-point Eidolon, I think, is definitely a winner.
But
for the faction,
I don't know. It gets one of my issues with, or not issues, but one of my confusing parts of Dusk now is who is our Jack caster, and it's basically all of them. Like, Hazaroth just has Fire Group and this great feat, and did I say Hazaroth? No, Helith has Fire Group and this great feat, and I'm going to play Phantasm with her and just kind of stick her behind that for safety. But I just feel like she can surprise assassinate, and her army has like range 14, so range 16 guns, and that's pretty much further than almost every army can make now. And then we have Hazaroth, which runs the undead boat really well. Maybe Tyrus runs Soulless better. I haven't really looked into it. The Void Engine got some great changes, but it's still, I don't know. Like I said before, I didn't really play Soulless before. But Moraine to me is just that, I don't know, that kind of high ceiling. You figure out how she's going to go, and she's just that tricksy. I'm going to remove these models off the table and just go. Also, I'm seriously considering running the Sky Raider with her if it still has Phantasm, which I believe, or not, Poltergeist, which I believe it still does, because it's still a Rat 3, and you throw Mortality, everyone suffers. And a Rat 3 brutal damage bomb is great there. And I can go on and on about Dusk, apparently.
With also the changes, the Soulless changes standing out. Yeah, the cheap stealth warriors, but yeah, the Blade Masters with Spectres. Blade Masters as Spectre punishment and something like Skyrafel. Because, like, okay, Spectres even better than they were because of all the stat decreases, and Spectres are just so hard to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now, like, you have Blade Masters that get flank off of it if you don't kill it.
Yeah. The Spectres are really cool. I think they're a lot better now with Sarafel, just like you said. And her feat just being, no matter what, I push you. So now, like a tough model or medium infantry, if you do a point of damage, they wouldn't get pushed before. So now, no matter what, you're getting pushed. That's kind of a huge buff to
It's
her.
a huge buff.
Well, a huge
buff
additional back to the way it was, but this is good.
And you get an additional push off the Force Blast.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm really excited to play her. I haven't played in a year, and now I'm excited to get these models on the table and try them out. I do like Hazaroth. Talking to John, he got me excited about it last year. But I don't know.
I think it was kind of mentioned by Kosma about the cats and how they are significantly more defensible. I was definitely talking to Cass about this earlier today with battle formation plus all of their other buffs and everything like that. They are just seem like a very significant
with the cats.
Oh, am I thinking the wrong faction?
Wrong guys.
Okay, my fault.
Stir the blood with the cats.
Stir the blood. I
Stir
apologize.
the blood with the cats is good. But
it's like they stole stir the blood from trolls.
Do we have talking points? We can start Old Umbre.
Yeah, let's kick into, for my money, this is the faction that's least changed in substance from what it was. Geoff, I know a lot of your locals were jumping ship like, oh, the changes to Maxim have them on suicide watch, but I think this is a faction that hasn't changed that much outside of the inline expectations we had.
Except for locally, it's me and one other person that's playing Dusk.
So. What do you guys think about the changes to Old Umbre?
Imagine you have a faction that excels at being defensive, and you nerf every 13. Other faction's ability to do offense.
Yeah, defense 13 on their heavies is a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not just that. I mean, not just their defense as a defense stat, but defense and armor. Imagine you have a faction that is both strong in defense and armor, and you remove every other faction's, or you reduce every other faction's ability to do damage and to hit. I mean, if you don't bring them down,
a caster
they are
lethality drop. What lethality drop?
Yeah, the lethality buff drop is a huge buff to that faction. The fact that they didn't get touched means that they are going to be more oppressive than they were since they've been dropped, in my opinion.
Their heavies still have Sacred Ward, right?
Their heavies still have Sacred Ward, and the Dark Sister Jazana Aga still has Star-Crossed.
Oof, that's rough. So you can't debuff them with spells. You just basically have to go through them.
Yeah,
So I guess
they took
the
some
answer.
they took some to hit value changes that are, more or less consistent across the board, but their defense values remain on point to be highly relevant. They maintain star-crossed, which may become more common. And their win button caster got pulled down a little. This is a faction that seems superlatively situated.
This faction could probably win the game without having to ever attack the enemy models except for to push them off the objective, because it would take so much to remove them from the table if you stack them.
Mm-hmm.
Just by
All
running you out of time.
I want to talk about the most egregious change on the faction, which is the goats no longer can stop any attack with their scapegoat ability.
Just melee.
They
Yeah,
get
they're
just
melee
melee.
shield guard.
What can they stop now?
Melee.
Just
They
melee.
stop melee. They're
So
melee shield guard.
Grass. Just back there. Hold on, I got a dandelion. You're dead. So personally, I'm gonna run a giant gunboat into them, because if I don't, with dusk, you still have those. I don't see you. I don't care. I'm just gonna shoot in the air and still kill you. For the witch and for all their, they have shield guards, which is annoying, but I'm not going to say it's easy, because they're really a good faction. But personally, that's what I'm going to run. And they're not called Old Umbry, Kosma. They're
Old
called
Ombre?
Old Undies.
They're called
Old
what?
what?
Old Undies is the proper name of that
Old
faction.
undies.
Hold on, Dave.
Just putting that out there.
But yeah, also, do you want to talk about Lesnoy?
No, yeah, that's what I was alluding to with what lethality drop. This
Yeah.
faction still has an insight caster,
Yeah.
which is unbelievably good. Lesnoy gets more survivable with the rest of the game taking a lethality drop. And the fact that this caster's terrifying even before the changes, and he just gets stronger.
So if you're still playing Grimkin against Old Umbry, take Ruin.
Yeah, you kind of need it. It doesn't help you though when he casts it and then moves in.
Well, he's probably close enough. If you ruin it, he's going to have a bad day.
I suppose so.
But yeah, anyway.
Let's
very important tech for a faction that will be played.
Let's move on from the faction that I think at least is the least changed to the faction which is the most changed, and talk about Winter Core. Have you guys gotten much of an opportunity to parse through the impact of the Winter Core changes?
I have not.
Oh my gosh.
I was waiting.
Okay, so
Someone else.
controller, fabricated defense. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, create a defense. Yeah, pay
Create
4
a
points,
defense.
have a defense where you want one.
Yep. The changes to the direwolf. The direwolf getting a lot of cost adjustments. And also cost adjustments on the Great Bears. And Baranova got better.
But did Sabrin get better?
Baranova getting better is. I was talking with Keith about this in the pre-show. Her arc went up, her control went up, and she picked up some new spells. But one of the reasons, I don't think this is an unqualified improvement on Baranova, because if you look at the spells she used to rack versus the spells she has now, they're quite different. this is almost a caster that got objectively stronger as a response to losing her auto pick options.
That's fair.
So
Yana getting Windwall. I was just reading the text. Sorry, we were talking about it before. I was right. Spellcaster can't make range attacks, and you can only hit her with magical attacks. And the model's within 3 inches of her.
Mm-hmm.
The old Lilith 3, I think. The one on the
Vlad won.
Vlad won, yeah.
Yeah. That's a good change, I think. Oh wow, the Bison got better. Range 14 now. Or range 14 to 12, I guess. But the cost
it got downgraded.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Cost went down to 9.
Mm-hmm.
It got a cost bump
They got
with a nerf to their range, but I think I would take that trade.
Nerf to range and speed.
Yeah, it still has I forgot what it's called, the combined fire or
Both barrels, yeah.
Yeah.
Battle Mechanics got a bonus for speed on large base.
So it's worth mentioning. Essentially, Battle Mechanics and the Officer picked up Desperate Pace units and heavies. So this faction is actually like, it went from being plotting and slow and not doing great melee damage and not doing great damage, like range damage, to being really fast. Winter Corps is a fast faction now, if you're willing to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like speed 7, speed 8 units, speed 6 jacks whenever you need a jack to be speed 6, on top of multiple casters carrying speed buffs or righteous vengeance benefits. Like, that's amazing. This faction is so fast.
I reserve my judgment for the faction until I kind of see it on the table, because I wonder if the point cost is going to be relevant. Like, they're getting something they want, but they're still paying for it. So I don't know.
Sorry. I would like to point out that the controller doesn't remove defenses and whatnot anymore. It can just put one down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but one of the defenses it can put down is the powder, right? So you could still throw.
Yeah, powder cake, fire pit, spike trap, or barrier. That's
so you can still pseudo remove a defense.
Keith is making a very good point. Very few non-Warjack models have open fist. If I recall correctly, it's the controller and Bosun Grog's bar.
So if you put it down, then huck it at you.
Being able to throw a powder keg is only restricted to open fists. So the controller can mini feat to drop a keg and then throw it and remove any defense within 10 inches, or pitch it D6 inches and do POW 14s.
That's awesome.
This is like, in addition to the ability to just drop a wall when and where you want, like, the controller can mini feat for Sapper.
I kind of wish that you could throw walls.
The standard on the Winter Corps. Human Wave.
Yeah, because every one of their weapon attachments has take up, and the standard has take up, and it says any grunts that died the last turn, like, you killed 3 of my grunts, they're all back.
Yep.
Right. So it's bringing back up to 3 models a turn, right? Because you can't really, you know what I mean? Like,
that still mandates.
It's still very
nothing,
good. Don't get me
if
wrong.
nothing else, you kill everyone except the standard, and the 4 guys that are left when the unit activates again can still dump a POW 15 ranged attack on you, and then demand that you remove all 4 again. So that's a hell of an ability.
It's a very good, and
Mhm.
I think it's very much what Kador wants to do, which is to, as Chris would say if he's here, is just to exist, right? They just want to exist on the flag. They want to force you to have to overcommit resources to remove them completely. Because if you don't, then they're just going to be right back there, or back on the flag again, scoring it again. Which I think is great. I think it's very good for them, and I think it's very much the play style that is Kador, right?
Well, the elusive head now to kind of go with that is free. Like, yeah, I'm going to go over here and score a flag. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. The pikemen went up in cost, but they gained health, just like the gunners did, the shock troopers. They gained flank warjack instead of CMA. And their POW's now 13, but they have flank, so they can get an additional die with jacks.
Mhm. They finally have a unit that does real melee damage, which they've been dying
Yeah.
for.
Well,
And they're speed 7 if you want them to be.
Well, and and flank gives them the 2 mat as well, right? So, so
yeah, they go to mat.
Initial to die.
Yeah.
The pikemen did damage before. Or am I thinking of something else?
The pikemen were 15s before, but they only had 5 boxes too. So
they had
going up to 8 boxes.
Yeah, they were too easy to kill. They had crit armor piercing, which is gone now, but honestly, they have way more consistent damage. It's not contingent on Baronova giving them signs of importance to hit.
Mm-hmm.
So what spell did Savrin pick up?
Oh god, Commander Valeri Savrin lost Icy Grip, gains Fire for Effect, Airburst, and Iron Flesh. So he is even more Irisk 1-2.
That's awesome. I love killing him, but also I enjoyed playing him.
Yep. Also, interestingly, kill order is only +2 to damage rolls, but it's not contingent on the units that want to benefit from it being within 10 of him.
Okay. Like in line of sight and 10 of him, if I remember right.
Yep. Yeah, he just has to be able to pick up the enemy, tag them once, and then you get +2 to damage against them.
Wait a second.
I wanted to add too that the bunny is playable in Winter Core.
I was going to say, I was just looking at that. Is the bunny added? He was.
Yeah, Zacchaeus is
added. Bunny was added.
He's a really good model, just like it's an extra defense for Winter Core. Yeah. Just I know they're low defs, but he might be pretty valid there.
Let's what do we got here? Edward Cote. I'm worried about Winter Core, to be honest. Our casters are better, but we have more support tax and dependence on combos, and the lethality changes hurt us disproportionately. I think it's a double-edged sword. Honestly, defense 13 across the faction got better, and I've been saying for over a year, like, if you want to fix Winter Core, a lot of their units need +1 defense across the board. They kind of got it. The Direwolf on net comes down in points, and I think you just pick where your winners are. Plus something like that's not in this document but is worth saying is Winter Core has now what old Kador used to have, which is like, if you're not over enthusiastic about your battle group and you're not synergizing it off like crazy, just take Behemoth and then maybe like a cheapo Direwolf. But like Behemoth will do the job of a battle group.
Yep.
Well, didn't we see an 80mm Behemoth coming?
Oh no, yeah, 80 millimeters, armored, base arm 22, base speed 6, significantly higher base POW, still with crit armor pierce, and just boosted to hit on his guns for free.
So yeah, you're still accurate.
Yeah, and he has almost a strictly superior version of a movable object.
But he has turrets.
Yeah, so I mean, Winter Core is so wildly different, and like, sure, you have to pay around the edges. for your support tax and stuff. But at no point do you have to pay a cost you're not willing to. And this faction can just be configured in so many different ways. You can cheap out on your infantry and just go low to the ground what you need to score consistently, maybe pick up a bunch of mark target. You can go low to the ground on your battle group, pick up a Behemoth and a preposterously cheap Direwolf and just go, I have all the heavies I need and I have the ability to score scenario, and I'm going to go, God, this faction is so different and so improved and has the option to run really wily games that it never had before.
All right. On that note, I have to drop out. I'm having some mental issues. So have a good one. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Really like to have you.
All right. Shall we kick over to Chimera? I know we had a bit of a discussion about the Trichimerics. I feel like okay, so we have casters like Valix and Lilith that have changed a ton.
Yeah, Valix is like a brand new man.
Yeah. But I think the highest impact thing is the fact that the trike has changed a ton. So, Cass, you and I had a big back and forth in the pre-show about where this thing landed.
Oh, yeah.
Take us through the underlying math.
Okay, so underlying math is so you can still get a 32-point trike with the negation tail. Although if you want more of the old style build, you're looking at paying 2 more points. But a lot of the options, it's deceptive in that you have a lot of orientations to actually have a more adjustable trike depending on your list. Because so if you're taking with sharks, and you decide to take Void Tail instead of Negation Tail. Well, Void Tail doesn't cost anything, gives you an additional initial. Now is giving magic resistance to models within 6 inches of 120 millimeter base, and you can banish reward it. These are all options that are going on the table for a cheaper trike because they subtly reduce point costs to a lot of things that weren't being taken. The Gulper is 8 points, but the Bicorn head is now 5 points. So it's substantially different point difference by 3 points for that POW that you're getting. The heads, respectively, the ranged heads are both 4 points now, and their ranges came down. But the POW on the ice spray went up. And yeah, the tails, like the ranged tails, went down in cost because it's to compensate for the ranged heads. The ranged heads were zeros before. Now they adjusted the prices so that they could tweak them individually. So I think the trike, outside of the spell changes, okay, because that was mentioned in the
which is before. The most consequential.
It is. I agree with you. It is the most consequential, but the trike itself has more options. I don't feel that it was substantially nerfed itself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, yeah, and that's something I had the luck of getting to talk to Matt and Jamie about is we started with absolutely killing this model, making it useless, and then dialed it back up to the correct relevancy point. I think the biggest change, like you said, is the only armor buff available to this now versus in the days of Spell Rack, you just put Dragon's Blood on it, is you take it with Rasik and you have to have another battle group model to give it battle formation. That's the only way this model exceeds ARM 19.
No, I thought battle formation is just warrior models.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. It's just ARM 19 now.
Yeah, it's just ARM 19, which means it's just effectively armor 21 when you're doing the calculations for healing. If you can't do the healing, deal with the healing.
Although there is, I say that and I take it back now. Just like Zacchaeus going down in cost, there was another model that was right there, just under being like a superlative choice, and the thing that held him back was cost. Riven, the Onyx Rampant, went down to 5 points instead of 6.
And he has Mortal Fear.
So it's conditional, so you can have
Yeah.
the high armor, but it's not always on from your rack.
Yeah, and it's not just ubiquitous.
So we have, I think we're going to be exiting the year of all trike-less and saying the trike is still going to be metagang relevant, but it's not going to be the face of the faction.
That's fair.
Real quick, who do we think came out as winners and losers for the comp of this faction?
Weirdly, Vipex's winners.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while they lost the mat on the Viper Head, the Viper Head's cost came down. The Ophidian Head gained dark power. The Cleavers, the cheap melee option, while their power went down by 1, their reach went up.
Range
so
2 is a big deal.
Range 2 is a big deal. They're definitely, you're going to see them with Valix, who, like I said, new man. They cut his elite cadre. He's got Weapon Masters today. So he's got Well of Hate. So Well of Hate, 4 initial sidestepping snakes who have, I believe, crit paralysis, could be relevant. Could very well be relevant. Let me see. Incarnate Knight's got an armor. He's got an armor. So they're 19s base now. So yeah,
they didn't get any killier, but they got a lot more annoying to remove.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit before the show about Drakion on the cusp, on the cusp of greatness, and maybe this is his year of him coming out.
Well, I think with things like the trike not being as guaranteed a slam dunk, you are going to start to reach for other battle group options. You know, the Wyvern is still there to reach for, but I feel like the Drakion, you know, just getting a slight damage kick and being tough to remove is like, that's a war beast. And the thing about it is it also requires 0 support to be ultra successful.
Yes.
The Drakion is just a standout all-star for very few points.
I think you're going to see a transition from less Lashers, more Deathbringers, because Deathbringers didn't get a change.
Yeah, and Lashers losing that going down from mat 8 with Gang to just mat 6 all the time. They're also less push button caster killer, less push button a lot of the applicators they used to be in. They also don't have Silence of Death to alleviate their low POW. Their defensive stats at 14-14, 8 boxes are still great, but they're not like the take all comers, like absolute unstoppable generalists they used to be.
Which is good.
Yeah.
It's a good change.
I think it's going to give space to more of the faction. Mind you, the faction saw some pick-me-ups in a lot of areas, but not like a ton. I don't know. It's just not going to be as push button to build Chimera-less, and I don't think they're going to come out in a bad place overall, you know, partially because their defensive stats were well oriented to receive a lethality drop, even though they suffered from it some. Like, maybe I'm not close enough to it, but I don't feel like there's much to complain about here.
Oh, yeah, there's not much to complain about. I think the spell selections that they made for all the casters are very good.
Oh my god, I'm so excited for Lilith in particular.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Lilith got such a glow up.
Yeah, native 3 shots. She's the one carrying the melee damage buff, like, and Knight's Reflection is corner case, like on an at 6 caster. Man, is that a hell of a spell if you can make it land.
Yep. Absolutely.
And just caster inevitability, like, I'm Rat 8, I'm firing 3 range 12 shots a turn, and you also get -3 range to hit me. Like, that ain't
Yeah,
nothing to sneeze at.
she's contributing all the time.
Keith, any thoughts on Chimera? Oh,
I think that the Trank is still going to be the meta boogeyman. I don't think the 2-point nerf
you
is
think
going to be
so?
significant
Interesting.
enough. I think they're going to just rework their lists to keep that thing in the faction. I think there's several units that got buffed and that will have a chance to shine. And, I think that they will. I think that they are going to probably stay relatively the same in the meta. I don't think they're really going to go up much or down much. That's kind of the way I feel about them.
Yeah.
SFS gained internal balance without losing much. If anything, an external balance. I kind of agree with Edward Coate here. Is kind of the point I'm making. But go ahead.
Tell you what, we're at our usual end time, but we're only 2 factions away from going through all the updates. Are you guys good to hang on and plow through for a bit?
No sleep till Brooklyn. Let's do it.
All right. All right. Orgoth. Much ink has been spilled over this faction. Horus took a bit of a kicking, but I don't think he's out of it. The Reavers, SFG said this faction probably needs a rework, but in the meantime, here's last word and a bunch of base stat boosts. I feel like Strike Reavers and Assault Reavers were like, once again, just under like where they would be all-stars, and I think this is a kick up. Oriax got a big glow up. Kishtar got a big glow up. And Sabrith got, I don't know if it's big enough, but some substantial changes. 1, do you think Horusk is out of the metagame? And 2, what do you think of this faction's build variety? Are we going to be stuck in mono build, or do they get to really show up and play?
I also want to mention they got to glow up on the Tyrants. Like, Tyrants are better now.
Oh, you mean they went from being massively unfairly overcosted in almost every aspect and came down to reasonable?
Yep, absolutely. They came down to the land of reason. Yeah, they were absolutely overcosted before. They came down. It's a good change on the Tyrants. Do I think they come to play? Let me look at Horus, because like I was looking at Horus losing Fate Blast. His feat getting that pretty ubiquitous -1 armor on those armor feats.
That's hard for me to say about them. I mean, they won last year. I mean, and I know Horus took a beating, but like he won. So, I mean, what do you want me to say? It's like, do you think that the faction that won is going to be good enough next year? I mean, I feel like they buffed some units that I think weren't being taken enough, and they absolutely deserved to be taken enough. Not the ones that you mentioned, but the shield wall guys, for example, right? Didn't they come up a bit? And like,
so here's the question: does the Lion now concern himself with a second list?
Yeah, I mean, maybe because Horus came down, but like, didn't they buff Butcher? Like, is Butcher back? Like, he kind of has part of Butcher 1's feet, and you get to choose.
Is he back? He never left.
Well, but people weren't playing him. Yeah, so I agree. Did he ever leave?
I think people only realized that Butcher was super playable way late in the metagame cycle.
Yeah, and then he got, and now he's better.
And you look at his changes. Did he lose anything? No, but he picked up Redline and Revive, so he's stacking Redline and Hunter's Mark, and he traded out Crit Decap, which is a big so what, for Blood Boon, which is amazing. He picked up Repo, which you've always said is a big missing, and his feat no longer has timing confusion because you're not worried about recurring models. It's just D3 plus 2 guys gain Weapon Master on melee attacks.
Yes. I think
It's
a great change.
friendly faction models. This can go on a tyrant with just a dorky claw, and he's going to ruin your life.
Yes.
Don't they have that like journeyman warcaster with a really okay?
It can go on Anathea.
Oh,
it
sure.
can go on
Yeah,
a
it can go on
Ravner.
Anathea. Yeah.
Like,
which is already a Weapon Master.
I mean, just give him. He's Butcher. Just give him Behemoth back. I mean, let's see what that feat does with Behemoth.
No, oh my god!
As long as we're doing things, I mean,
they gave Auriax Fate Blessed. They moved it from Borask. We're like, people aren't taking Auriax because of all of his soul reliance. Let's give him Fate Blessed. Gave him Darkfire. I'm excited about Darkfire on Auriax. I think that's going to be great.
Honestly, if I wasn't playing Gravediggers, I might have already been playing Orgoth. I think they're just they're such
it's one of those factions that I'm wondering why you're not playing. Besides the fact that I know you only play Sigmar.
I know, it's like I don't know. Anyways, I think they were a great faction before they got kind of buffed, as it were, and I think they're going to be as good or better going into the next year. I don't know.
I already thought that Strike Reavers were good, and they just buffed them. So I'm like, all right, Strike Reavers, let's go. I want to see these Strike Reavers.
That unit just produces so many attacks, it's crazy.
I know. And now they just made the base armor 16, made them 7 points instead of 8. They're like, if I remember correctly, they have CRA with their hand cannons. Yeah, it's
they lose out on inspiration, but like if you're packing any kind of hit or damage buff, like defense 13, 18 in a lethality drop world is like such. Yeah, your single wound infantry, your defensive stats only matter so much. But when the attacks going into you go from hitting you like 70, 60% of the time to being like a coin flip, it's like, this is kind of awesome.
I mean, it's like, if blast damage is supposed to deal with single wound infantry, it certainly does not deal with these guys.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Absolutely.
They got shield wall on top of already good defensive stats. So it's like, if you miss them, the boost, even if you could boost it, still probably not going to kill them. And if you hit them, you're really only going to kill the one you hit, because the shield wall is going to be, the armor is going to be so high that the blast damage isn't going to do anything to it. So it's like, and so like you're spending a lot of resources to remove 5 guys that just want to sit on that flag and prevent you from scoring. And by the way, they're going to be contributing every round with however much CRA that they have based on the number of units they have. And if you're running them with Butcher or something like that, bringing that guy back every turn, or a couple of guys back every turn, is going to be kind of backbreaking potentially.
Right. And I think this returns to your this returns to your off the scrap heap from way back in the day, that if you just run a Butcher ranged army, especially now that he has a Weapon Master feat, like, you don't need to connect with that much. You just need to.
I'm going to give this guy in the unit Weapon Master on his ranged attack, and they're going to CRA. I mean, how bad is that?
It's only melee for him, but
okay.
Yeah, it's only melee.
It's not
but
the
thing is, like,
one, right? Like,
yeah. The fact that he can make your reprisal damage so high, like, all you need to do is build a Butcher list that forces your opponent onto a timer and watch them come into you and suffer for it.
Yes. Oh.
I think this is hot. I think the Lion does need to concern himself with a second list, but like, you don't feel bad about it anymore.
No, you don't feel bad about it. What's the I'm trying to remember the map on the Rock Harriers, because I see that they got a point cost reduction.
Yeah. What did the Rock? What happened to them?
They got
They lost gang.
They lost gang. They got the power bump, but they lost a cost.
Yep, but they still can drop a map buff on you by one of them placing base to base. So like, they're stealth, they're arm 16, they're POW 14. What do you want?
Yeah, and they're def 13 base, and they are sitting vultures. Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's good. The point cost reduction, good. Yeah, no. So I think that leads us to. Do we want to talk about some trolls?
Oh man, so this is one of the factions where like a bunch of my take on these guys is a bunch of individual dials got flipped. A bunch of rules changed here and there, and like a bunch of models do different things than you were expecting. Their defense profiles are in slightly different places, their offensive profiles are in slightly different places. This is my runner-up for the faction that, despite the many changes it received, is the least changed faction. Like, a lot of individual numbers changed, but the essence of the faction occupying the metagame niche of hyper offense and massive number fixing has remained essentially undiminished. If you're looking for infantry supremacy, now rather than looking at Boom Howler, you maybe look toward Foul Blood. If you were looking for Perdition big battle group, which I've said in the past, you look to Boom Howler because she now has good access to channelers. And her kit is actually weirdly natively super supportive of big battle group Perdition plans. It was just the ability to connect Perdition that was her failure point. Shadow Tongue is the same Shadow Tongue you've always known, except he doesn't have Perdition now. Now he has a bunch more tools to deliver his infantry and baked in damage fixing.
So better. So Shadow Tongue is Shadow Tongue, but better. That's what I heard.
Shadow Tongue is Shadow Tongue, but lane shifted. I wouldn't say he's better.
What do you think about the soul denial?
Annoyingly,
Okay.
Annoyingly, they actually snuck in. There is Scornergy with something I quite enjoyed in the past, which is heal from surgeons no longer works. It only works on living models.
No.
But surgeons also just picked up the ability to turn off continuous effects and stand your guys up after they tuffed. So, like, am I mad?
Oh, great.
Not really.
Yeah.
No. And I don't get hit by things like bloodthirst anymore. The Virager got toned down appropriately, and they did it gently with a POW drop, which is probably the fairest space to hit it. And like the faction gotten out for defense troll because everybody's amphibious. It's not consistent, but does it show up? Yes. And in addition to incidentally showing up, does it incentivize you to do things like take the Deep Dweller head or take Spirit Shamans and give your army just mass concealment? Yeah. And giving your army mass concealment, do you also have the option to pick a unit and say they're stealth now? Yeah, you do. The faction lost gang on the Marauder crew, but they're still POW high. You have to be a bit selective about who's going to damage buff, whether it's Bragan through his feet, or through Shadow Tongue with Dark Shroud, or through Foul Blood with good old Fury Strength. But like, it's still there. The plan is still there. Big battle group plan is still there. You don't have Fortify anymore, but the King used to be really fragile at ARM 19, and now it's ARM 20. And like, we turn all these dials, and the arrival is like, we're back where we started. Our mat is arbitrarily high and our POW is arbitrarily high, and we run these various battle group schema that are really good. Oh, and also now our pigs are slightly cheaper and have more battlefield roles and better defense.
I now, looking through all of the Brian Bless changes, understand why you couldn't build lists in the app. Because all of the changes are so many tweaks in that faction. You just can't do it.
No, yeah.
Everything going in different directions just to arrive, like you said, at the same location.
Right. I think the biggest change actually that's been made to the faction is Brine Bloods has had a long shadows problem in that Boomhowler and Shadow Tongue eclipsed everybody else because they essentially ate their lunch by running their same game plan but better. Foul Blood is no longer worse Boomhowler. Is he as good as Boomhowler was? Probably not. But is he bad? Nope. Shadow Tongue no longer steps on everybody's toes by being able to run their exact same battle plans, and in the case of Firequill, just run his plan but better. He is a little bit more tightly focused as an all-rounder / tech fixer. Firequill has moved into being an inevitability caster, doing work turn over turn, and being remarkably consistent and offering some good targeted buffs. Ragemonger, like, I have no idea where Broggan's gonna land personally. He's the one I've devoted least effort to. But Boomhowler has taken what was one of her like fringe niches that could be built in interesting ways, but was obviously suboptimal relative to her infantry plan. And now Perdition Big Battle Group has moved into being her main plan. That's actually quite thrilling. So, you know, and Boggity Bomb, it didn't happen like I thought it would, but he's the go fast caster. Unfortunately, loss of Fury strength has cost him his personal output because he now caps at POW 14. But like, he's your go fast caster. Like that ain't nothing. So I think that's where we're at with the faction. Like, it changed a lot, but everything wound up more or less at the same place, and now you have caster diversity.
Which
overall is great. Huh?
Which two casters, Kosma, if you were playing trolls this year, would you be taking to lists, or would you be taking to events if you had to just kind of throw it out there right now without
if I had to throw it out there right now, I would still probably be running Shadow Tongue King. A lot of my points would come out of dedicated support and go into more units because Shadow Tongue supports units obnoxiously well. And I've sort of been dying to get Lockabash Brothers with him anyways. So probably still Shadow Tongue King. And then, if I'm honest, probably Shadow Tongue King Firequill, because Shadow Tongue is moving more into the generalist list by picking up more infantry presence. I think I would actually start to approach Firequill as a specialist. That's where I'd start. It's possible that I wind up at Shadow Tongue and Foul Blood, but honestly, I don't know. It would be. I would need emotional distance to go to Foul Blood after Boomhowler last year.
Yeah.
So probably Shadow Tongue Firequill.
Do you think that Firequill can do the work and stay safe, or do enough work and stay safe with his changes?
So Firequill is not going to be a Kane. He's not going to be that game-defining output caster. What he is going to be is a local superiority guy. Firequill will, pick a 10-inch circle of the board, probably justified toward his side of the army where he can, be defended by his own guys, and just say anything that enters this circle dies or has no scenario relevance. Which is a viable niche. If your army can fight on the rest of the table, all you need is like localized superiority in part of the board, and you're in great spot. Shellfish bullets, High Noon, and his ability to slam and all that stuff. Like, Black Spot too. Him being able to apply Black Spot locally very effectively with Fire Guardians now being channelers means Firequill won't dominate the whole board, but he'll dominate the part of the board you need him to. I think that's viable.
Do you have any final thoughts on anything we've covered?
Oh gosh, I'm excited. This will make a lot more sense in my brain once it hits the app. Cass, how about you?
Well, I am not only am I excited for this year, but I'm excited to see all the factions hit, see what starts percolating to the top, and see what people are missing. It's almost like
Mhm.
I already felt like there was a lot of unexplored space in the game, and now it's like a brand new game.
Yeah,
And I'm very
absolutely.
curious as to how the Steamroller document will adjust things.
Mhm.
So I'm excited to see that. The only thing I am actually kind of sad from the little previews that we got is the only instance of it we saw was in Firequill, which was in Shellfish Bullets, and I thought the idea of that kind of ability in the game is very evocative, and that I
Oh,
would like to see it more.
it's super cool, and it would be neat to see like explicit scenario interaction show up on more models.
Mhm. Yeah, I really want to see that. But hopefully more over time.
Mhm, mhm. Keith, any final thoughts to take us away on?
There's so many changes to Gravediggers. I'm really need to get it on the table to really know where I think it's actually going to land, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. I mean, we didn't really talk about it too much, but there's a lot of new there's a lot of new abilities that the airdrops bring that they didn't have last year. And I'm
Mhm.
interested to see how those play out on the table as well. So I
Right.
think there's
Melee
Gravediggers
damage airdrops is a big deal.
It is. It is. I'm interested to see how this all plays out, and maybe that Gravediggers ends up very well out of this. But they still have some weaknesses, like don't have a huge. To me, they don't have a huge access to either entropic or grievous wounds in faction, aside from a very few models, and the sniper, which is a model that is typically not taken.
Sure.
While I will agree with you that the Rowdies definitely will see a lot more table time than they did last year, it's still only one model really that's going to be in every list that has good access to Grievous.
Mhm.
And then Hasker, I think, is the other one, which I'm excited to see Hasker actually on the table. I know there's been a lot of negativity about him. The only thing that I was kind of hoping for that he didn't get is that to lose the dice roll on his feet.
Mhm.
But I didn't also expect that he was going to get control area. What is it? Rough terrain and remove rough terrain or Pathfinder with no ability to get rid of or to get Pathfinder back. So
Mhm.
I'm interested to see how it all plays out. But I try to reserve my enthusiasm until I see it on the table because otherwise I get disappointed real easy.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe the option is take Cass's advice and just play some Morgoth until the Gravediggers meta shakes out.
Well, I don't own any of that, and neither does Cass. So
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I mean,
So,
like, if you want to play a faction that's settled, you can play Convergence.
yeah, thought about it actually.
I know you did.
All right. Well, with that, that's us a bit over time. For everyone still watching, go ahead and give us a subscribe and hit the notification thing so you can catch tournament live streaming going on this weekend and follow live tournaments from Captain Con. Also, we're real close to 500 subscribers. Help us get there and tune in next week. In the meantime, Keith, take us away.
I just want to thank you all one more time for joining us here on the Gun Bunnies podcast, and we hope to see you again next week.